Round 8 of the 1985 Formula One World Championship is the British Grand Prix here at Silverstone in the British Midlands, a disused aerodrome which has been built into a fine Grand Prix circuit, very flat, very open and very, very fast. In qualifying, Keke Rosberg has taken pole position at an average speed of 160.9 miles an hour, which makes this the fastest Grand Prix circuit in the world and makes his qualifying lap the fastest ever qualifying lap for any Grand Prix. So there's Keke Rosberg in Williams Honda number 6 on pole position. Number 7 is the Brabham of Nelson Piquet, second quickest. Third quickest Alain Prost's McLaren, fourth quickest Ayrton Senna's Lotus. But at the start it's Ayrton Senna's Lotus, the black car from the outside of the second row, which goes all the way round the outside, round the 3 cars in front of it, and chops across to take the lead into Copse Corner. Ayrton Senna leads in the Lotus Renault, but an accident at the first corner delays several people. Patrick Tambay's Renault spins. Stefan Johansson's Ferrari hits it, and that was Alio in the Ram and Ghinzani in the Azella colliding. The Renault, with only 3 wheels left on it, parks. That's Patrick Tambay. Stefan Johansson makes it back to the pits, but he's out, and so are the other 2 cars involved. But Ayrton Senna holds on to the lead, despite the efforts of Keke Rosberg behind him. So it's Senna's Lotus leading, Rosberg's Williams in second place, third is Mansell's Williams, fourth is Prost in the McLaren. Fifth is De Cesaris in the Ligier, sixth Piquet's Brabham, and seventh Alboreto in what is now the only Ferrari in the race. At the Woodcote chicane at the end of lap 1, Keke Rosberg closes up on Senna but can't get by. Mansell still third, Prost fourth, De Cesaris fifth, Piquet sixth, Alboreto 7th, 8th is De Angelis in the Lotus, and 9th Derek Warwick in the only Renault left in the race. Niki Lauda is very far down the field in 19th place at the end of the first lap, having been delayed by the start line accident. But Alain Prost is moving up in McLaren number 2. He sets about attacking the Nigel Mansell Williams. He passes going into Copse Corner. Next, he sets about the Ligier of De Cesaris and passes on the inside, going into the Woodcote chicane. So now he is third. Ayrton Senna still leads. Keke Rosberg is still in second place in number 6 Williams. But here comes the flying Alain Prost in third place. After dogging the wheel tracks of Keke Rosberg for many laps, he closes in to pounce. It's his favourite place once more, going into the chicane. The tight line under braking, and he's through into second place. The other McLaren of Niki Lauda is also moving up, passing Nigel Mansell in the other Williams. Mansell is soon out of the race anyway, with a failed clutch. It's a bad day for the Williams team altogether because Keke Rosberg parks with a smoking engine, so he has dropped out as well. Meanwhile, Niki Lauda passes De Cesaris, so now it's Senna's Lotus first, Prost's McLaren second, Lauda's McLaren third, with De Cesaris in fourth place. Prost is now right up to the leader, Ayrton Senna. But Senna isn't going to make it easy for him. Now starts a game of cat and mouse. Senna has to drive hard enough to hold off the McLaren, and yet not drive so hard that he uses up his allowance of fuel before the race is over. So he's adjusting the turbocharger boost from the cockpit to try and balance these 2 factors. Prost confidently and looking relaxed, sits behind him and awaits developments. Now they're coming up to lap the 4th and 5th placed men, which is Alboretto's Ferrari and Nelson Piquet's Brabham. And still Senna holds off the McLaren. That's Piquet in the Brabham, but here comes Prost, making a tremendous effort at the chicane, but he finds Senna a tough nut to crack, and Senna certainly doesn't let him through. Copse corner. Now the Lotus suddenly seems to falter, and Prost goes by at Maggot's curve with ease. What's happening is that Senna's Lotus is starting to run short of fuel, and the engine had cut out momentarily. However, for the moment it's going properly again, and Senna closes up on Prost once more. It's a great battle in the closing stages of the British Grand Prix. Niki Lauda, meanwhile, has just passed some back markers, but he falters and slows, so that Prost goes past his teammate. Lauda's problem is a gearbox malady, and he is soon to retire. But Senna is right there with Prost. As they go onto the long hangar straight, Senna, his car running properly for the moment, pounces. Niki Lauda slows, soon to retire. Senna has got by going into Stowe Corner, so the Lotus is back in the lead again. But Prost stays stuck in with behind him, and Prost is waiting for the Lotus to falter again. Going into Woodcote, Prost gets alongside, but Senna shuts him out, even though they have Mark Seura's Brabham ahead of them to lap. But it's all over now. Senna's car falters once more. Prost goes by easily. And this time Senna's race is run. Prost pulls away as Senna nurses his car on, only to stop by the pits completely out of fuel. Sadly, he gets out of the cockpit. So now Alain Prost leads the race by more than a lap. His own teammate Niki Lauda has retired, so into second place comes Michele Alboreto with the Ferrari. Mistakenly, the organisers hold out the checkered flag a lap early. So the race is only run to 65 laps rather than 66. But Prost does the 66th lap just to make sure. Alboreto's Ferrari is second. Third, after a splendid drive, is the 41-year-old Frenchman Jacques Lafitte with the Ligier. Nelson Piquet's Brabham is fourth, and Derek Warwick struggles over the line to finish fifth. That's the end of Prost's extra lap, with the checkered flag still waving. Mark Seura following him home in 6th place. And here comes Derek Warwick with a dead engine, rolling over the finish line to claim his 2 championship points for 5th place. Jacques Lafitte actually runs out of fuel on the 66th lap, but as it's the slowing down lap, he still has his 3rd place. So Prost first, a whole lap ahead of Alboreto, with Lafitte in 3rd place. Piquet is 4th, Derek Warwick a lucky 5th, and in 6th place, Mark Seura with the 2nd Brabham. That's Alboreto on the left, Prost with the Gold Cup. And as they spray the champagne, Lafitte is missing because he's still stranded by his out-of-petrol car. In the World Championship table, Michele Alboreto still leads, but he now only has 2 points advantage over Alain Prost. Elio De Angelis, Keke Rosberg and Stefan Johansson failed to score at Silverstone, but they're still 3rd, 4th and 5th. Ferrari still lead the Manufacturers' Championship, with McLaren now in 2nd place, 3 points ahead of Lotus.